93 WIBC, it's Terry Stacy. Well, joining us this morning is Jared Krisiloff. He's the son of former race car driver Steve Krisiloff. You may know his name. A member of the legendary Holman George family, and he's currently the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's Senior Director of Marketing. But something completely different. He's about to embark on one of the craziest adventures for charity that I have really ever heard of in my 27 years here at WIBC. How are you, Jared?
I'm great. That's quite an introduction.
Well, this is quite an adventure. The adventure is called the Rickshaw Run, and I've never heard of it before. Where did you hear about it, Jared?
Well, I actually heard about it through a classmate of mine at Ohio University. We were talking about, an extracurricular activity that we could do as part of our coursework, really to raise money for charity and kind of reunite all of us together to do some good. And he had came up with a crazy idea. It's like he had heard about this event, this Rickshaw Run event, and he said, "Let's go do that, and that's how we're going to raise money for charity."
Now, this is, so you've never done this before. This is your first time that you'll be attempting the Rickshaw Run. And where does it take place?
Well, it takes place in India.
Okay.
And it's a 14-day, about 2,000 miles rally across the northern part of India in a desert, all the way down to the southern coast in a rickshaw. And a lot of people, when I tell them this story, they're like, "In a rickshaw, you're running?"
Yeah, that's what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, you're pulling a rickshaw 2,000 miles, and it's not a Thailand rickshaw or a Chinese rickshaw. It's an Indian rickshaw, and those are little three-wheeled vehicles that have a two-stroke motor with about 7 horsepower that we're going to cram ourselves into.
It sounds like, and I think it's been described as, when you look at the website, it's described as a lawnmower.
Yeah. It's actually a glorified lawnmower.
Yeah, glorified lawnmower. That's right. I probably should put the glorified, because it is a glorified. And so will you do it with somebody in the rickshaw with you, or do you do it alone?
Well, there's 3 of us that are on a team, and my teammates are classmates of mine at Ohio University, and that's really the program. The program, we're all professionals in the sports industry, and we're pursuing extra education at Ohio University, which has a phenomenal sports program. And as part of that, they challenge us to unite and create something. So create something for charity or to raise money. So we really thought about, okay, well, what can we do that's a crazy idea? What can we do that takes a lot of commitment to showcase, the commitment of our classmates, the strength of the program, but also do something good. So I got 2 classmates. One, runs baseball in Alberta, Canada, and the other is the director of snowboarding for the Mexican snowboarding team.
Oh, my goodness.
And so, we're kind of coming from all different perspectives here, and we're actually not going to unite until we get to India. So we're kind of all planes, trains, and automobiles until we get there, and then we'll try and sort out our adventure across the country.
Oh, my goodness. Again, this is several thousand miles. This isn't just a little journey. This is a big adventure for 14 days. It's called the Rickshaw Run, and you've described a little bit what the rickshaw looks like. So when you enter into the Rickshaw Run, that you get a rickshaw, and then do you actually kind of decorate it and paint it, and do you have time to do all of that to make it really your own?
Well, it's actually a really neat process. So right now we're designing our rickshaw, and it's going to be brightly colored so that everybody can see us, and it's going to have our Ohio University colors, and of course the mascot Rufus the Bobcat on it.
Oh, sure. Oh, that's perfect.
And so we design it here, and you can design it with pen, paper, pencil, crayons, sophisticated computer software, and then we submit it. And then what they do, the organizer of the event, matches up with a local artist who is actually going to paint our rickshaw for us. So when we arrive there, he or she, some local artist in India, will have painted it to kind of our design.
Oh, that's
cool. It's pretty wild. All the teams have completely different, paint jobs or whatever you want to call them, and it's a lot of fun. And then when we get there, we get a day or so to learn, the ropes, how to drive it, how to fix it, how to navigate around India, because in India, the roads are no holds barred. I mean, there are 0 driving rules or restrictions other than try to stay on the on one side of the road versus the other, and it's opposite driving direction in the United States. Driving
on the website on Rickshaw Run, it tells you that these rickshaws are prone to breaking down.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
There was a rickshaw run that took a different route, about a month ago, and I followed along just to see how people interacted with each other while it was happening, and on a daily basis, and sometimes it happened multiple times on a daily basis, people break down for various reasons. They're taking a two-stroke lawnmower, 2,000 miles, and then there's wear and tear, whether it's, the roads aren't very good there. So, a lot of times they go down roads that have massive potholes, or, they're going off-road, they're on-road. There's so many things that I think can go wrong or beat up on these things that you're constantly fixing them. And that's really part of the challenge, right? It'd be one thing to hop in a car, drive 2,000 miles. It'd be one thing I guess you could do other vehicles, but this is really an obscure, primitive vehicle that's meant to take people from building to building within a city, not to go across the country, let alone a country the size of India.
How fast does it go?
They say it goes about 35 miles an hour, but I bet we can get it a little bit higher than that going downhill somewhere.
Where do you sleep?
Well, it's definitely a choose-your-own adventure. Our plan is once we get there, we're going to roll out a map and say, okay, we're gonna try and get here by day one, try and get here by day two, and because it's so unpredictable with breakdowns and things like that, we're going to be ready to sleep in tents. We're going to be ready to sleep in the rickshaw, and we're going to be ready to sleep in hotels or carriage houses. So I think we're all prepared to roll with the punches and to use this as an adventure versus try to plan by a schedule, because I think we'll find really quickly that we'll get off that schedule, and it'll take a lot of the fun out of it anyway.
Jared Krisiloff is with us, and he's the Senior Director of Marketing for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's about to embark on one of the craziest ventures for charity that you've ever heard of. It's called the Rickshaw Run. And when do you go, Jared?
So the run kicks off on January 1st, 2014. We'll be traveling a couple of days ahead of that to get there and to get oriented. But it kicks off. The actual send off is the 1st of January, and then it ends on the 14th of January. So it's two solid weeks of driving a rickshaw across the country.
Now, does it make you nervous that on the website it says that there are warnings that are posted because people have lost their lives doing the rickshaw run? What are some of the risks that do concern you?
Well, I've actually looked into that a little bit more, and I don't believe there are any official deaths on the rickshaw run. The organizers do all kinds of crazy adventures. They do Siberian rallies through the winter on motorcycles. And,
wow.
So they do some pretty extreme adventures, and this is one of the less extreme adventures, in terms of the types of vehicle. I mean, I guess it is a pretty extreme vehicle, but in terms of, what we're doing, there's been injuries. I mean, there's been injuries in just about everything. I think there's been a broken arm or two, but I think the message here is you're taking a lot of people from around the world and you're putting them in an environment that they're not comfortable with, and you need to be smart about that. It's just like traveling anywhere. You need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to have a great time, but you need to be responsible. And if you're not responsible, you can get into trouble. So, the warnings. We're very wary of those. We've already kind of committed that we're going to do everything we can not to drive at night. Mm-hmm. We're adults. Still like to have fun, but we're going to make sure that we're responsible.
Oh, I hope you see an elephant. But it really is about raising money for charity. A lot of money has already been raised. Are all of you that participate, do you raise money for your own individual charities, or are you all focused on one charity for the Rickshaw Run?
There's one charity called Cool Earth, which is essentially to save the rainforest, which is the official charity of the overall event.
Okay.
So we're going to support that as part of our involvement in the event. But I talked a little bit about, the reason why we got into this was, as a class project at Ohio University. And so what we've done is there's an overall program that we're going to get into more detail in a little bit, called OU Match the Miles, and that's Ohio. That stands for Ohio University Match the Miles, and the web address is www.oumatchthemiles.com, which you can go to and learn a little bit more and find out where to donate. But essentially, the three of us are going to India, and we're going to drive this rickshaw about 2,000 miles. And then when we get back, all the rest of our classmates, about 30 classmates who live around the country, are going to match our miles through running, biking, or cycling, or running, biking, or walking.
I see.
So we're this is something that just developed, and it's a great way to get everybody involved.
Yeah.
And it just broadens the platform for our cause, which our class cause benefits the Love, Hope, Strength Foundation.
Okay.
And the Love, Hope, Strength Foundation is a fantastic organization that takes a completely different approach to raising awareness around building and supporting cancer centers around the world, as well as boosting awareness about global cancer needs and expanding the International Bone Marrow Database. So their whole vision is really global, and they infuse music as one of their methods, music and special events. So they'll throw a concert, a Love, Hope, Strength concert, and one of their big efforts will be to get people on a list and to be a bone marrow donor. Because what they do is they match people. So they match people with other cancer victims or individuals with cancer, because what they can do now, and it's been proven, but it's one of those new emerging ways to cause or to solve cancer issues is through bone marrow transplant.
It's terrific.
So it's really cool. It's really cutting edge, and the group that we're working on, they just did an event at the summit of Mount Everest.
Oh, wow.
So we're really excited to be a part of that, and hopefully we can raise quite a bit of funds to support their donation efforts, but also to just generate awareness about the fact that it's extremely easy for anybody to go to a blood bank, get their cheeks swabbed, get on a database as a bone marrow donor, and then if there's someone who's in need, they can match you, and then you can potentially save a life. So it's just as much about money as it is about awareness, about something that's so simple for people to participate in.
Jared Krisiloff will leave just a little before January 1st. January 1st is when the Rickshaw Run begins. OUMatchTheMiles.com is one of the websites you've given to us. Is there any place else that you would like us to go to if we'd like to help you out, Jared?
The other thing you can do is you can come like us on Facebook, and it's very easy. We've got a page set up, and it's facebook.com/Rickshaw Bobcats. Okay. And everybody who can like us and share us and really help tell our story broadens our base as we go on this run and provide updates, provide photos and videos to get people really jazzed up about it.
Okay, that's where we can follow you. Rickshaw Bobcats, you can find them on Facebook. Well, I just think it's terrific. I've never heard of it before, but you've taught us a great deal about the good that's being done with this adventure called the Rickshaw Run that takes place in India, and Jared and his friends are just preparing for this adventure. We wish you the best of luck, and if you need anything before you go, please let us know, but otherwise we're going to just continue to follow you and watch what happens, and maybe check back with you when you get back home.
Excellent. And if I can get a decent cell phone, maybe I'll call into one of your shows.
That would be awesome.
Because I'll have to keep you updated if I find an elephant.
Oh, if you find an elephant, if you could just get your picture taken next to the elephant, that would be a huge bonus.
Absolutely.
Jared Krisiloff, we wish you the best of luck, and what a cool thing to do to help and make a difference in lives all over the world. Thank you so much. Good luck.
No, thank you.
And by the way, there is another fundraiser coming up at the Beer Brewery that will be in December. Check out Jared's Facebook page for updates.